the orthoPAC, hosted by Sam Dyer. Welcome to the orthoPAC, where we discuss up-to-date orthopedic topics for the busy clinician. I invite you to sit back and relax as I attempt to fill in the gaps between education, current events, and real-world practice. Good morning, listeners. This is Sam Dyer, and welcome back to the orthoPAC. Today you have me, and I thought I would discuss the NCCPA recertification exam. Specifically, I'd like to talk about the PANRE-LA, or their longitudinal assessment. So I know many of you have taken the PANRE before. Now, for those of you that don't know what that is, Physician Assistant National Recertification Exam, the test that you take the further away you get from school, like I'm 26 years now in orthopedics, taking an exam on medical stuff is kind of difficult the further away you get, but you still remember a lot. Anyway, in Indianapolis at our annual meeting, the NCCPA rep that was there was talking up the PANRE-LA, and so I got some information and I said, well, you know what, I'll give it a try. Now, that being said, for those of you that don't remember, this is going way back. The NCCPA used to have a take-home exam. They called it the Pathway 2, and I took it once, and that was by far and above the worst, hardest, incredibly difficult exam I've ever had, and I vowed I would never do it again. So after talking to the NCCPA folks about this exam, I decided, well, I'll give it a try because you do have an out, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about my experience with it. So first of all, $350, so $350 for any of the PANRE recertification exams, whether you take it at Pearson VUE or you do this, so you can't get out of that. I was looking at my previous record. I don't think they've raised the rate of that for quite some time, so I guess that's a good thing. Throw in the $180 certification maintenance fee, and I just lost $530, so my wallet feels light. But other than that, I'm ready to go with the exam. So just some highlights. You sign up for this, elect to take it this way. It comes in the 6th year of your certification cycle, and you take so many questions per quarter, 25 questions per quarter. You have 12 quarters to complete 8 successfully, I think I'm reading this correctly from the NCCPA. You can do them all at once, or that gives you some time where you can skip a quarter if you need to, or I'm assuming if you don't pass, it gives you more opportunities to pass. In the 10th year of your cycle, let's say you haven't passed the take-home part, and you still have to pass your recertification, there is the opportunities to take the exam at the Pearson VUE, and I think the website says you have 3 opportunities to do it. So there's a backup, and because there was a backup, I said I'd give it a try. So I finished my first quarter's exam. I did it all at one whack with 2 computers. One computer logged into the NCCPA taking the questions, the other computer as a resource for topics. And it asks you questions like, how hard was this? Does it apply to your current practice? Does it apply to your clinical practice? Was it relevant? That kind of stuff. And it asks you that as you're going along with each question. So it gives you the opportunity to provide some of your feedback to the NCCPA. It was a challenging test. It reminded me of taking the PANRE. Nice to have an open book when you're looking for things. I missed the very first question, so that did not instill much confidence going forward. But after that, I settled down and I did okay. I got 22 out of 25, and if I score that correctly, that's an 88. That's a B+. So I'm thrilled with that. There were several topics. So I don't know if this was set up because I identified with MSK or orthopedics, or if there's maybe an AI component that has other clinical specialty questions show up that are kind of like an orthopedic or a musculoskeletal question. I looked back I had 2 questions on musculoskeletal system. One was on osteoarthritis and one was on fibromyalgia. There were emerging topics on elder and child abuse that I could see related to orthopedics. Dermatology and infectious disease had some insect bite questions, and hematologic had iron deficiency anemia. I don't think I'm giving out specifics for this. I hope not. NCCPA, if I am, let me know. But I don't think so. These were the subjects and topics, and I'm not giving out specific questions, but those things kind of relate to orthopedics, even though they're a different clinical practice. So I thought that Well, okay, it seemed like it was kind of more geared toward MSK, which is good. I mean, taking a test that has 95% on medicine topics that I don't practice 26 years after school, that creates a challenge. It comes to the point, well, do we really need to take medicine exams? And the whole point is, well, PAs can move between different specialties. Like if I wanted to go do cardiology now, I can do it without having to go back to school or do anything. So I guess that justifies that practice. But that being said, I still like the fact that some of the questions seem to be geared toward more of an MSK problem, and that was good for me. Now, moving forward, my next quarter starts in April, I think, or end of March, beginning of April. And you have time, so you can pause the test, you can go back and restart. You get 5 minutes per question. If you don't get it in 5 minutes, it recommends you take a guess because it will count against you if you don't have a question. If you're going to miss it, at least you got a 25% chance, so take a guess if you don't know. But I was able to find ballpark answers on everything within 3 to 4 minutes, and I probably knew the answers on maybe 10 questions, just cold. So it's doable. I'm not excited about having to take a test every quarter for the next 2 years, but hey, I trade that with the anxiety going to the Pearson View. It's fine by me. This works for me. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll update you as I go along. I did want to spend some time talking about some upcoming meetings with you guys. First off, next month we have our Ortho in the West in Phoenix, and I'm going to be there. I'm excited about it. We've got a good lineup of speakers. The next thing that we have coming up, a musculoskeletal ultrasound workshop in San Antonio. This is the first time we've done this as a standalone meeting, and I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be very well received. I hope you guys can make plans to go. We get questions all the time about musculoskeletal ultrasound courses. We do it at our annual meeting. This year, instead of doing the sit-down conference in Charlotte, we're doing this ultrasound workshop in May. So we're looking forward to that. Registration should be open as of the publication of this recording. So take a look at that if you're interested, and I would advise you to respond quickly because the spots will fill up quickly. Nashville in September, really looking forward to Nashville. Nashville's always a fun place, a good time, things to do outside the conference, a variety of speakers, variety of workshops. Registration for that is not open yet. It'll open later in the spring, early summer, so keep your eyes open for that if you're making plans. And in November, we're having orthopedic boot camp again in Charlotte, and we have workshops there, things like physical exam and injection techniques, that sort of stuff. We also have good covering of radiology, radiography, MSK radiography, so it's well worthwhile for our younger colleagues or for our colleagues that are switching from another specialty into orthopedics. It's a good refresher for you. That's all I have for today. Have a good day, and thanks for listening. Please follow the Physician Assistants in Orthopedic Surgery on social media. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Please subscribe to our podcast. If this has been helpful, please take a moment to leave a review.